Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're jumping right into a fascinating look at something you probably walk past or maybe even step on every single day. I want us to completely reframe how we view the humble dandelion. We're going to stop looking at it as just this pesky garden weed that messes up a perfect lawn and start seeing it for what it really is, a highly complex biochemical powerhouse with some incredibly deep, ancient medicinal roots.
All right, here's our roadmap for today. First, we'll take a closer look at the weed itself. Then, we'll dive into how it acts as a healing source for the body, uncover some surprising skin and beauty secrets, go over the best consumption and usage methods, and finally, we'll wrap up with some very critical warnings from the experts.
Let's get started with part 1, a closer look at the weed. Now, we all know this look, right? Those fluffy little parachute seeds blown in the wind. It's super nostalgic if you're a kid, but man, it is the ultimate headache for gardeners. And actually, it's exactly this incredibly efficient seed dispersal system that allows the plant to just spread everywhere, making it one of the absolute most successful survivors in the entire plant kingdom.
But before it gets to that fluffy seed stage, we get this really vibrant, bright yellow flower. Scientifically, it's known as Taraxacum officinale, and it belongs to the Asteraceae family. It is a tough, perennial survivor. And what's really unique about its anatomy is that if you snap the stem or tear a leaf, it bleeds this very specific white latex sap. That sap, as we'll find out in a bit, actually carries its own highly unique medicinal properties.
And get this, using it for health is not some new internet trend. We're talking ancient history here. Way back in ancient Greece, the botanist Theophrastus used it specifically to treat liver spots and freckles. Fast forward a bit to the 10th and 11th centuries, and the legendary Islamic scholar Ibn Sina was actively prescribing dandelion extracts for severe blockages in the liver and spleen. And today? Well, modern clinical dermatology and toxicology are actually validating these ancient texts in real modern laboratories.
Moving right along to part 2, healing source for the body.
The nutritional lineup here is honestly staggering. It is absolutely packed with essential vitamins like A, C, and K, plus it's rich in critical minerals like potassium and iron, giving your entire system a massive boost. It aids in digestion, it's been shown to lower blood pressure, largely thanks to all that potassium, it helps regulate blood sugar, and it actively neutralizes free radicals in your body with some seriously powerful anti-inflammatory and antioxidant properties.
Now, what's really fascinating is how the plant kind of divides up its jobs. You don't just consume the whole thing for one specific issue. The root is your deep liver detoxifier. It stimulates bile production and is loaded with prebiotic fiber to feed your gut microbiome. On the flip side, the leaf is your kidney's best friend. It flushes the kidneys and works as a highly effective natural diuretic. And the best part? It doesn't deplete your body's potassium levels while doing it because the leaf itself is already packed with it.
And here is where the frontier of current research gets incredibly compelling. Emerging clinical studies are pointing toward dandelion extracts having potential anti-cancer properties. We're talking preliminary test tube research showing it actually has the ability to slow down or even inhibit the growth of several severe cancer types, including liver, colon, breast, pancreatic, and prostate cancer cells. Obviously, it's early days, but the biochemistry is so promising.
All right, let's look at part 3, skin and beauty secrets. It's making huge waves in dermatology too. Studies are actually showing that fermented dandelion extract applied directly to the skin can help protect it against UVB radiation damage from the sun. The root extract? That's being used to boost new skin cell generation for anti-aging. It actively calms down inflammation in severe skin conditions like acne, eczema, and psoriasis. Oh, and remember that white latex sap we talked about earlier? That has been traditionally used to naturally treat and dissolve warts.
Because of all this, the cosmetic industry is just innovating super rapidly with this plant. Take commercial products like Aromatica's Dandelion Feminine Gel, for instance. They are taking full advantage of those soothing, detoxifying properties. By combining the plant's extract with prebiotics and probiotics, they're creating these modern, vegan formulations, specifically designed to maintain a healthy bacterial balance in the most sensitive areas of the body.
Okay, on to part 4, consumption and usage methods.
So, if you're going to use it, you need to know exactly how. Relying on authorities like Professor Dr. K. Husnu Khan Bashir, along with established Ayurvedic guidelines, we've got some precise dosages mapped out to keep you safe. If you're making a root decoction, you want to boil 2 to 3 teaspoons of the root in a cup of water for about 15 to 20 minutes. For a leaf infusion, just steep that same amount in boiling water. If you're going with a concentrated tincture, it's 30 to 40 drops in a little bit of water.
Sticking to these guidelines ensures you get the optimal benefits without totally overloading your system. You can generally do these up to 3 times a day. But look, it doesn't have to just be medicinal teas. It's incredibly versatile. You can toss the fresh, young spring leaves right into a detoxifying salad with just a splash of olive oil and lemon. You can actually roast and brew the roots for a rich, dark, completely caffeine-free coffee alternative that's great for your gut. You can even rub dandelion oil directly onto aching rheumatic joints for some natural pain relief, or get creative and ferment the flowers into traditional dandelion wine or honey.
Which brings us to part 5, and this is absolutely crucial. Critical warnings from experts.
Because you might be wondering at this point, hey, can't I just go rip this out of my yard, brew a massive pot of tea, and drink it every single day? The answer to that is absolutely not. Especially, and I mean especially, if you are taking certain medications. Because dandelion is such a powerful diuretic, it can actually cause psychiatric drugs like lithium to toxically accumulate in your kidneys. If you're on an antibiotic like ciprofloxacin, the plant binds to it and blocks your body from absorbing it. Taking blood thinners like warfarin, the high vitamin K content in dandelion leaves directly fights against your medication. And if you're on diabetes meds, combining them with dandelion runs the very real risk of a sudden, dangerous drop in your blood sugar.
Let's zoom in on the heart and kidney risks for a second. We mentioned earlier that the high potassium in the leaves is great for a healthy person, right? Well, if you are a chronic kidney patient, or if you happen to take specific blood pressure drugs known as ACE inhibitors, things like ramipril or lisinopril, this plant can actually trigger hyperkalemia. That's a dangerous overload of potassium that can cause fatal heart arrhythmias.
Then there's the liver and gallbladder to think about. We talked about how the root is a fantastic liver detoxifier because it cranks up bile production by up to 40%. But because of that, it is strictly off-limits if you have blocked bile ducts, gallstones, or acute biliary disease. I mean, forcing that much extra bile through a blocked duct, it can literally cause it to rupture.
Finally, we got to talk about hormones. Dandelion actually exhibits mild estrogenic effects, which means anyone with hormone-sensitive cancers should completely avoid it without talking to a doctor first. And here's a pretty wild twist. Contrary to old Jordanian folk medicine, which claimed it boosted virility, modern lab studies actually show that dandelion extract reduces male fertility. So what does this all mean? Knowing that this incredibly common little yard plant holds this kind of deep healing power for your skin, your liver, and your gut, but also carries some very serious biochemical risks that can clash with modern medicine, I challenge you to look at your lawn differently tomorrow. The natural world is wonderfully complex, and sometimes the most powerful chemistry on Earth is hiding right there in the grass. Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and keep learning.